So guys, I've decided to do a new series of videos for you. This time I'm doing some cold ones for my new Age of Sigmar army. Now, I really like the cold ones, but the actual Lizardman models themselves are not very good. The actual cold one itself looks a little bit on clunky and clumsy side, whereas the dark elf cold ones look really mean and menacing, and the detail quality is much higher. So I decided I'm going to convert them over to Lizardman. Here you can see I've got a kind of finished one where I've done a lot of detailing to it. Let me just give you a quick rundown of how I've done it though. So here are the two models side by side. The original one, the Dark Elf one, I was originally just going to put the rider straight on and it would be a really simple conversion job. However, I realised there's too many sort of little key details that just hint that it's a Dark Elf Cold One. And I didn't like that, and I wanted to look a lot more like the Carnosaur model. So just going through the original model, there's a few things that really give away that it's a Dark Elf Cold One, and that's these pointy bits of armour. So there's the armour on the neck, and then there's also this little armour on the back. Then there's the sort of human style strapping here and in the middle, and I guess there's a little bit to a lesser extent joining up with the armour at the front. And then there's these little hooks here, but other than that, I think that's about it. So the next step was to remove all of these elements, mostly the strapping and this underneath the chest, which was the armour bit. That was probably the most trickiest bit, I would say. In doing so, you'll find on this side there's a really big gap, so I just filled that with green stuff. On this side, it's not too much of an issue. On the saddle, you might also notice there's this little like indent of detail just there. So I've just green stuffed that over for now. That will just hide that little dark elf detail. So by removing that back bit of armour, there's kind of a little blank bit of detail there, and I wanted to add in some extra spikes on the cold ones just to make it a little bit more detailed. If I just compare the two, you can see how I sort of trim that shape line a little bit just along here. So going to this version, I then added on some spikes just where that blank bit was there, where I've modified the armour, just to add an extra bit of detail. It felt like it was missing something there. Then using some green stuff, all I did is I sort of rolled out a flat piece and then finally cut it up into strips. And then from there I kind of wrapped it around these sections. So what I did with these strips is I kind of glued all three pieces together at the same time up here. Kept them separately so I could actually individually place them, which allows me to get a bit more sort of detail by overlapping each other. And I made sure to do that on pretty much all of them. With these two at the front, I used much longer pieces so I could go all the way around. With these, sometimes I went all the way around, sometimes I just went to the other side where these kind of brass emblems are. So that's where the start and end is, so that kind of, they get covered and hidden by these. These are actually just little press moulds. So I took these little bits of detail from the Carnosaur kit. I used instant mould, which allowed me to make a pressing, and then used green stuff to create the mould. I also did that for this little bit of detail at the front, and also for kind of a raised seat area. So actually you can see that this came from the Carnosaur kit here. I obviously had no intention of buying 5 just to replicate that, so I took a sort of press mould of each side, glued them together, and you can see this sort of comes out okay. I mean, it's probably not perfect, but it will do for the job that I want. I'm going to try and do that to all 5 cold ones, but I did it on the first one on the alpha, so if it didn't really work out, at least I had it working well on one, and I use that just to make him stand out properly. Now there was one little extra bit of detail I wanted to show you. So there was a bit of a mould line at the very top. What I did is I was filling that with green stuff, and then I decided to add in a little bit extra more green stuff and using my sculpting tool just make lots of little indentations just to give it like kind of nice little forehead ridge rather than just smoothing it out. This guy's finished. I've still got the rest of the squad to get to this guy's standard. I just thought I would do a little video for now so I could show you sort of before and after how the cold ones are going to look. There's still the riders to go, so keep an eye out for that video. Thanks again for watching, and please do like and subscribe. Take care.